CCNA, CCNP, Microsoft Cloud. It sounds like a lot, but if you look at it, if you go to college for 4 years.
Hi everyone, welcome to an exciting episode of the Career Catalyst podcast. So today we have a very exciting guest with us. He has been a Cisco tutor for almost 20 years now, and he has tutored over 1,400,000 plus students over the tenure. So if you want to make sure you know what he talks about or what is his advice about creating a career as a network engineer, make sure that you keep watching. Introducing Lance. Here we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's begin with the conversation. Right. So, hi Raj, how have you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. Been pretty busy. I've been keeping myself busy. One was CCNA. We're network teams teaching the CCNA. So I've been pretty busy doing that. Also doing all my own things as well. So I've been pretty full schedule. I like to keep myself busy. I like to keep myself busy. So, but I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
So, where exactly are you right now?
Right now, I am in Malaysia, Kuala
Oh,
Lumpur. Yeah, we've been traveling quite a bit. We came from the States to Thailand. We're in Bangkok for about 7 months. And then we've traveled throughout Cambodia, and now we're in Malaysia. We stay here for a while, and just keep traveling. That's one of the things we're doing now. Is since I teach online, it's a lot. It's as long as I have an internet connection, I can do what I need to do, and I can see the world. I don't want to stay stuck in one little bubble. I want to be able to go around and do all these things. So yeah, Malaysia is very nice, very very beautiful. Great people, great food. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
wonderful. Okay, so you plan to stay there for like more than a month or what?
Well, we have to follow the rules with the visa is concerned. So it's a 90-day visa. So after 90 days, we will have to leave. We may want to come back. We may want to go somewhere else, and then we just do it that way. Eventually, I have to go back to the States and take care of certain business, but that's how we do it. So depending, eventually in Thailand, because I haven't been all over, but in Thailand seems to be like the place that I may just decide to retire. I don't know. You got to get a special visa for that retirement visa or what have you. But for now, I'm just hopping all over the place, just taking a look at everything. Which is that. So here for right now, 90 days. 90 days.
So I was just mentioning if traveling has, impacted your career in a positive way.
Oh, of course. My traveling, yes, definitely. I think not only my traveling, because I experienced different network technologies as far as connecting to the internet and devices that they use to connect to the internet and looking in the stores, the prices and all that. But it's also the people, since I move around, I get to see different people, teach different people from different backgrounds. So that's also has been very helpful for what I do as a network engineer. One of the things that I find very satisfying as far as being an educator is uh, in what I do now, online learning, is being able to meet all these different types of people. And the traveling has only made it better, where I get to see from different countries and their perspective on learning and how they've learned and what is that they need. So, oh yeah, definitely, most definitely, it has helped out quite a bit.
Okay, so you started your career as a network engineer, or like, can we go back in time and let's get the exact timeline how you started and everything?
Okay, okay, it's a funny story. It's a funny story. Never would I thought I would have never thought of ever being a network engineer or anything to that effect. I was a blue collar worker. I've always worked in warehousing and retail or things of that nature. I was prior service. It was my wife. She's the one that told me, "What are you gonna do when you're 60 years old? How are you gonna support me?" She told me, "Go to school." And I went to school and I studied computers. And when I fell in love with was the networking aspect of it. I did, repair, like, I'll tell you the certifications like A plus, number plus, what everybody goes through at first. but it didn't touch me as much, right? And definitely it was much better being inside an air conditioned office or building than being out in the hot sun every day. But networking, when it came to networking, that really excited me. I first started with Microsoft in networking, but then I started doing Cisco. And when I saw Cisco, that was it. I knew that was it. And that's why I wrote because one of the struggles that I had in Cisco, like every IT person, was IP. And I made it because I remember saying this when I was in school. It was like I want to network the world. That was one of my statements that I said. I literally got the chance to write a book on IP, which was the biggest thing on it, and that was in 2014. But oh my God, yeah, that's I was in warehousing. I was nowhere near computers, and when I started school, I started seeing what I can do, and when I found Cisco, I go, "That's it. This is my career. This is what I want to do," and it's just been great. It's been wonderful. It's been very good to me.
Okay, that's wonderful actually. So how did it start Cisco? I mean, how did it happen to you?
How did it happen for me? Well, it was through teaching, and it was kind of forced upon me because I started as an applications instructor for New Horizons. From there, I got called to work at a college for A plus repairing, right? So I started that, but again, I'm not into the repairing and all that. So I kind of snuck my way into Microsoft, and then at one point they needed an instructor, and they said, "Hey, Laz, we need you to teach the CCNA." I'm like, okay, well, listen, I'm not certified in CCNA. I really don't. And he's like, no, well, you got to get certified. So you got 6 weeks to get it done. I'm like, okay. So I got myself certified. I got myself certified in CCNA. And luckily, one of the things that people don't understand, if I may elaborate a little bit, uh, as I teach, when we teach, especially in a classroom environment, which I had that I've been blessed to be in a classroom environment and then take the knowledge from there to online, is that you get to work with real equipment. So I had real routers, real switches. I had my students in my classroom run cable. So do all the things that you would do in a normal working environment. And I got to learn Cisco that way. So it was kind of forced on me. It was not really forced. I was happy that they picked me for it, and then, but when I started doing it and I started networking people together, I got to a point in the brick and mortar where I networked two classrooms and we turned them into game rooms. And the students loved it. They were like, oh, it was so much fun. The students loved it because their goal was to network both rooms by running cable, putting the addresses, making them, sharing things, making it work. And then the 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 prize is we're able to game let's say half an hour before class is over, we can go ahead and start gaming. So that was pretty cool that we're able to do that. So I got to that level, but it just kept growing from there because every contract, because I do contracting on the side. Every contract that I got was always for either a business that needed something to learn in networking, or actually maybe look at an issue that they were having in networking. So that was even more because I know one of the contracts that I got was for Metro PCS, and yeah, I got actually hired by them as a telecommunication engineer. But that's how it happened for me. It was in teaching that I learned about Cisco. So yeah, and I loved it. Once I got there, it was great.
Okay, wonderful. So basically, you started completely hands-on. So, you were able to articulate it really well, and then you got on it, right?
Oh no, yeah, hands-on all the way. And this is exactly how I teach. I always tell people learn through labbing. You can read a book from cover to cover. You can. And you can memorize all the questions you want. You can answer them properly, what have you. But what I like about Cisco certifications and Cisco exams is that they give you a simulation that you have to prove your knowledge, that you have to actually configure, troubleshoot an issue. And what Cisco's been doing lately in the past couple of years is making you think outside the box because the book may say one way of doing things, but when you get to the simulation, it's not that way. You need to think of it again outside of the box, a creative way of fixing that issue. And once you get higher up into the certifications like CCIE, things of that nature, even CCNP and RC, which is It's the professional level certification, but it's a concentration. And there is a lot of troubleshooting. So learning through labbing for me is very crucial. Students need to lab. Even people in the field, they need to lab in order to really learn what's going on. So you can run into a lot of issues. I'm happy. I tell my students the same thing. I'm happy when I run into an issue because I like it that back and forth with the students. Hey, try this, try that, and then you come together like an IT team and you make it work because there's so many things that can happen. But yeah, learning through labbing, hands on is the way to go.
Wonderful. Okay, so if someone wants to self-study, is there any chance that someone can self-study these things, or would you recommend, getting hands-on training from someone? If someone wants to become a network engineer or do a concentration exam, right?
So where can somebody go to get the I want to make sure I understand your question correctly.
Okay.
Where can
So
somebody
basically,
go?
yeah. So I just mentioned like the self-study is good to go if someone wants to, crack some kind of concentration exams, especially like CCNP and RC. Or would you always recommend, taking training or having a mentor?
No, definitely if you're going to take certification, CCMA, CCMP, CCIE, I don't recommend self-study. Obviously, you have to read the book, right? There's books that need to be read. There's labs that need to practice. There's things you need to download. Uh, I think after you need somebody like say CCN, like Network Kings, right? They have their e-learning stuff. You need somebody that's going to explain to you in an easier method. The job of an educator is to take the information and to dilute it and make it easier to understand. So so you can say, okay, I understand what they were trying to, because sometimes, especially the Cisco Press books, they're very high dialogue. They're difficult to understand. And for myself, I'm Cuban. So English is not my first language. Is my first language is Spanish. So for a person that doesn't speak their first language is English, it may be a little bit more difficult. So it's better that you have an instructor, an engineer, somebody like again, Network Kings that's going to go ahead and have an instructor there that's showing you step by step how to do this. This is what they meant when they said to configure X, Y, and Z. You need that kind of support. It's always good to get that other to get your information somewhere else because you can understand it a certain way if you're just reading it on your own. But if you get that one person that tells you, well, no, they meant this and this is how you do that, and it works, that light bulb, I call it the light bulb moment where it just, oh, okay, I see what you mean. So always, for me, I couldn't just do it myself at reading every single day, what have you. I would like for an instructor or an educator that has been there, that has done it, and then be able to explain it in an easy method. I don't want him to read the book to me, or you can read it and then say, hey, this is what this means. This is what you need to understand that needs to happen. And this is where the understanding process comes in. But yeah, I believe to have a mentor, to go through an e-learning platform, somewhere. You got to go somewhere that's going to go ahead and teach you and choose wisely. Choose wisely. Make sure that the person that's there in front of you is actually showing you how these things get done and explaining. And another, I'm sorry if I'm making a long answer out of the question, but
Course.
uh, you need to ask questions because I know everybody's curious. Everybody's curious. When you're reading and you're highlighting and you're taking notes, there's got to be questions in your mind as to why we're doing it this way or whatever question may pop up. And that's what I'm there for you to ask me those questions. That the educator's job is to answer your doubts and get rid of your doubts, get rid of your fears, and show you how easy this could be. All right, but yeah, I believe in not self-study. You do the study after you take your class to just re-emphasize everything. There's a phrase called RTR, reinforced training. So that's what you do after an instructor has taught, shown you the ropes, I guess, and then move from there.
Okay, so I was mentioning that you have tutored a lot of students, right? So what's that one thing a lot of students, struggle with especially, what's something people are struggling with when breaking in the industry?
What's their biggest struggle? Well, I'll speak to the CCNA. I'll speak to any networking exam, whether it be Network Plus, CCNA, CCNP, even Microsoft, depending on the level of Microsoft certification you're taking. Their biggest thing is just really understanding the question. It's just understanding the question, the way that it's phrased. If you take a Microsoft exam, okay, what's happening is you get a paragraph question, right? So, and within that paragraph, there's just nonsense. And then the question is hidden in that paragraph. And then it's not choosing the correct answer, but choosing the best answer. So they struggle a lot with those type of questions. And it's leaning towards that. That's why I like Cisco. Cisco is pretty straightforward with their questioning. Within the Cisco environment, I can tell you specifically a domain, because in Cisco, the CCNA certification, you have 6 domains that you need to know. And domain number 3, which is considered, now I don't want to get too technical, but IP connectivity, they have issues looking at the fundamentals. And that's crucial. People like to skip the fundamentals of all of these exams, which they shouldn't. You need to really understand. At first, when you start learning networking, it's going to be memorization, just like anything else. It's going to be memorization. As you do it, as you practice, you start understanding all the concepts. Oh, do I have to do this first? Do I have to do this second? But they struggle with an order. As far as I see in the CCNA, to give you a specific topic, it's a common topic. It's IP. IP addressing the protocol, internet protocol, IPv4, IPv6. That's one of their biggest issues that students have. Any IT person have. And this is the reason why. And let me elaborate on that. The reason why they struggle with that is because once they get to the field, if they have the receipts, meaning they have their certifications, they have their degrees, they have their certificates of completion, they pass the interview process, and they get hired, they never touch that topic on IP again. Once you have an IP address assigned, you never do that. That topic never gets talked about again. But they have to recertify, or you need to keep moving. You need to keep evolving. So they forgot. And then that's why I wrote my book. It's a thin little book, 200 pages on that, but it's straight to the point. And this is exactly how you do this, because the formula that I give them, it's called a formula. I don't call it that. It's very simple. It's a little diagram. And if you follow that, you can answer any question on an interview anywhere. You can use your fingers in order to submit. They're just scared. I mean, I understand their fear is failing the exam. It's timed, and they can throw left field questions in there. The way the exam is put out there is pretty difficult for them. It really is. And for a person that your first language is not English, I think that's something that needs to change actually, because the test is in English, is in Japanese, and I think there's a third language. I don't remember which one it is. So imagine for everybody else in the world, it's like, oh my God, it's kind of difficult. But they struggle with the line of questioning and that particular topic that I told you. And now with AI, where network engineering is changing into the programming aspect, that's becoming a challenge right now as well.
That was insightful, honestly. So, as you mentioned, that AI is, changing the way. So, do you think, what are the different ways that network engineers can adapt themselves to, or how can they evolve their skills, to become job ready or be market ready? What are your thoughts on that, Les?
All right. Well, as far as becoming job ready, definitely, you have to get your certs. And I don't want to say it that way. Uh, First of all, find your passion. Number one, what is it that you like to do? Because everybody says, I want to be a cybersecurity professional. I want to be a network engineer. Well, that's a very big spectrum. It's a huge spectrum. So you need to decide on what part of that you want to be at. Like me, I chose Cisco. I didn't choose Microsoft. I didn't choose anything else, or cybersecurity, or back call it that back then, but cybersecurity. I didn't choose that. I chose routing and switching. That's what I want to do. So I focused on that. That's the first and foremost. You got to find that, because as an educator now, well, that I've been, to me, that's where I want to be. It's satisfying to me. I love the back and forth. I love meeting people, whatever. But to be job ready, you're going to go out and look for a job. You need your seats. You need your A plus, R plus, CCNA, CCNP, Microsoft Cloud. It sounds like a lot, but if you look at it, if you go to college for 4 years, the first, at least in the States, the first 2 years, you're learning English, science, art, all the humanities. And then the last 2 years is when you're actually starting getting into your field versus certifications that are specifically as to what you want to do, which is Cisco, Microsoft, cloud. Show me exactly how this works. I want to know. So you need to focus on what you want to do. And once you find that passion, because if it's a passion of yours, for me, networking is fun. For me, no worry. For me, it's okay. Don't worry. For me, networking is fun. I enjoy it. It's the best. And when I get into problems, cool. I love that. How do I fix this? So you got to enjoy that. You better start enjoying 12, 17-hour days. You got to enjoy that. But you need your certifications. But always look to see where do you want to be 3 to 5 years from now? What is it in networking that you want to be? Because if you want to be cybersecurity, a lot of people are skipping the CCNA or even a Network Plus, and that's incorrect. You need to get the fundamentals first. Once you get the networking fundamentals, then you can start going into cybersecurity, going into cloud engineering, going into DevOps. Whatever it is that you want to do. But you got to have a passion for one thing. We got to be cross trained on many things. We have to be. That's just the way it is. But you got to find one thing that you're going to be a master of, and it's up to the person really. But you need those certifications. You have to have those certifications. So when you go to the interview, and be ready when you get to the interview. So practice. You need that terminology. You need those concepts. You need that understanding.
Okay. So you mentioned something that's quite, a lot of people skip on it. That CCNA is the base to any form of, branching out in any sort of, either be DevOps or cybersecurity. So a lot of people may miss on that, right?
No, yes, CCNA should be the first thing. Well, not the very first thing, but you can take CCNA. Like if people come to me, uh, I can, when you teach the CCNA, it's from zero. That's why I call it from zero to hero. You're gonna know everything as far as the networking fundamentals are concerned, the writing protocols and everything that goes with it. After you know that, after you feel comfortable with that, you got your certification, then decide, okay, I want to get into cybersecurity. Because once you get into cybersecurity, now you have to secure the network. Well, if you don't know anything about the network, how are you going to secure it? So it's just like AI. People want to say, I want to learn AI. I want to learn AI. I want to automate everything. Well, if you're a hardcore programmer, you got a computer science degree, or you're just love coding, you're just into coding, you love it. How are you going to automate a network when you don't know what it takes to configure a routing protocol? Now, I'll give you an example, if you don't mind, if that's okay. Okay, so um, on YouTube, there's a channel called MIT Algorithms, right? Everybody always asks me because every routing protocol has an algorithm. And I go, listen, you don't need to know the physics about the algorithm. I've always said that. You just need to understand how the routing protocol works. So for so many years doing all these routing protocols, I decided one day to go there and listen to one of those classes. And I was able to answer before the professor gave the answer, not because I know physics, I know the routing protocol. So I understood what he was saying. So if you understand how all these things work in networking, how RIP or EIGRP or SPF, all these things, how they work, you don't need to know the physics. You need to know that. So when you go to a company and you're looking at their network, you can say, okay, we can do better. We can choose a better routing protocol that's going to make your network more efficient. The same thing goes with IPv4 and IPv6. IPv6 has been around since 1998. In 2001 is when it rolled out with Windows XP Pro. How long ago was that? That was a long time, and we still not there. The number one country that has 78% of IPv6 capability is India. As far that's correct, it's India. The United States is at 54% IPv6 capability. So India and the was it the United Arab Emirates? They're the ones that are higher up because not even China is as the percentage for IPv6. Even though China in 2008 was did their Olympics in all IPv6. So there's a lot of things that we need to do to get ready. And just so you know, for people listening or what have you, uh, there is an IPv6 certification that does exist. It is through your regional internet registry. So that's a certification that I think to take the receipts with you to a company is very good to have. And it's not that expensive. It's very, very inexpensive to take that. But you need to be aware of, I'm saying IP, routing protocols, domain 3.0. That's where the main issue is in the CCNA has the lowest scores. And it has to do with the routing of it. Because when we look at AI, everybody wants to get involved with AI. Like we have the new thing now is DeepSeek from China. Everybody's scared of using DeepSeek. Oh, should we use it? Is it going to go here? Is it going to go there? No, just your information is out there regardless. If China puts it out there or whoever puts it out there, your information is already out there. So you just got to take the proper steps. But AI is going to be helpful. AI will be helpful, but it will not replace the critical thinking of a human being. Our roles will change, but we are always going to be needed. Network engineers will always be needed in order to go behind the scenes and see exactly what's going on. I hope I answered your question.
Sure. So, do you think that someone would choose a network cloud engineer over a network security engineer or a plain network engineer today? Like, what do you think?
As far as comparing a cloud engineer to a network engineer and what was the other or cybersecurity? Is that did I hear
Yeah,
correctly?
yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
basic.
Okay. So a cloud engineer, obviously, his job is going to be uh, different but the same. A cloud engineer, he's working at some building somewhere, okay, with racks and blade servers, and he still's got everything's done through GUI. He's bringing up all these different devices, so he still has to know a networking fundamental. There's certain restrictions based on how because now with the controllers that they're using and what have you, he needs to know a little bit more about how their standard operating procedures and their architecture works in order for people to be able to connect uh, to the cloud, right? Whichever one you're using, Azure or whoever, and then be able to configure what you need to configure. But the cloud engineer, he needs to know, I guess, a little bit more as far as the programming aspect of it and the centralization that they're trying to do with everything. Because now I know a student whose company, his entire company, he's in Canada, his entire company is on the cloud. And all the employees, all they have is a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse, and a blue box, as he called it, and to plug in. That's it. Your domains are online. So everything is being handled online on the cloud. But that on the cloud, again, not to get technical, I think they call it on premise, where you can access their catalog and you can turn things on and off on your own. But the cloud engineer needs to be able to look at all that. So he has an additional step than a normal everyday network engineer. And even then, you have different tiers of network engineers at our normal levels, if you will. You have a network engineer one, two, three, senior levels. So you have an architect. So you have many different types of engineers that exist, but you can't get away from the fundamentals. But you need to choose because if you're going to go to the cloud, then you need to learn their architecture, their software, how they handle things on that data center portion of it versus just a normal network engineer that's dealing with simple routing protocols and things that happen more at the distribution, somewhat core level, down this way. But when you're at a data center level, yeah, that's another level altogether. That's a lot of things are going on there.
Right. So that's imagine best if basically imagine that I'm normal, graduate girl and I have CCNA certification all right with me. And I want to crack a job currently in 2025 as a network engineer and a high paying job. So what's the exact roadmap you would, recommend me?
What roadmap would I recommend? Well, I mean, it's different for everybody, but uh, in general, first of all, go for big companies, regardless. Never say no. Never say you don't know. You do know. One of the things that I recommend for everybody to do once you got your CCNA, uh, not only have that certification, you want to also create a portfolio of things you've done because a lot of companies, oh, I want experience, I want experience, I want experience. Okay, you have experience. Even if you just graduated from college, you do have experience because you're doing your labbing, whether it's to the packet tracer, whether it's to JS3, whether it's even G or CML2. All right. You are practicing what they want you to practice. Right. So you create drawings. I tell everybody to go to draw.io, draw the topologies, and then lab them out. So you've done them already. So that is, you're showing the employer that, hey, these are the topologies that I've created and I've configured X, Y, and Z. You talk the talk. You tell them, I've done this, I've done that. Oh, have you configured this? Yes, I've done that security. I've done telnet, I've done SSH, I've done access list, I've configured firewalls. So you got to be very confident. You can't go into an interview, oh, I just graduated from college. If you do that, you're shooting yourself in the foot. I just graduated from college. I got my CCNA, but I really haven't worked in the field. Well, thank you very much. And then they'll brush you off. No, no, no. You got to go in there confident. You got to go in there and say, I know what I'm doing. This is me. This is what I've done. This is what I know how to do. I know that networks need to be efficient. And based on your company, do your research on the company before you go. And based on your company, on what you're doing, this is what I've seen. Blah, 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 and you just start going off from there. So you got to go to an interview prepared. You just can't go with your CCNA and your resume and say, hey, I'm here, hire me. You got to go a little bit more than just that. And just, yeah, you got to sell yourself. You got to sell yourself. If you don't do that and you just say, well, what vacation time do you have? That's not enough. How many holidays can I take? You just got to be very assertive. Be assertive and show them what you know how to do. Because I know if you have a CCNA and you did things the right way and you went through already 4 years of college or whatever training you took, you know your stuff. You're a good student. You've labbed it. You've done it. So be sure yourself, be confident, and then just assert yourself, assert yourself, and take not only your resume, that portfolio. That's it. And research the company. That's what I would say.
Wonderful, Prakash. So, what's the final piece of advice, you would get to all our viewers out there who aspire to be a network engineer in 2025?
Once you decide that this is the what you want to do it. Don't don't have any fear, any doubts. No, no. If this is and deep down inside that this is what you want to do, then nothing can get in your way. Take that decision and run with it. If I would have never taken that step and I was scared to death to do it. But I had the support, but I said, you know what? I got to get this done because I have to make sure that my future, because you got to ask yourself from here 3 to 5 years from now, where am I going to be? Time's going to pass. So once you make the decision in what you want to do, you get it done. There's no turning back. You need to move forward. And then you schedule accordingly. No excuses. Kids, family, whatever the case may be, you deal with it. Life is life. And you made a decision for the better, to better yourself, your family, and everybody surrounding you to move forward with you. But once you make that decision that you want to be a network engineer, you got to go for it. But in today's society, education has changed. I think the best route, in my opinion, the best route to go once you said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to be," the best route to go is through an e-learning site like the CCA, like the network kings, where they actually teach you that. All right, so It's straight to the point. There's no playing around. It's straight to the point. This is what you need to learn. This is what you need to know, and just keep going. This is a career that everybody, you're going to be learning every single day. As IT evolves, you need to evolve. So this is a career that you will never stop learning. So if that's what you want, go for it.
Thank you so much for that dose of motivation. I'm sure, a lot of students would feel inspired by you.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for taking the time out, Laz. It was wonderful talking to you and, getting insights from you. It was amazing. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you. It was likewise.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, that's it.